Good afternoon, everybody. How we doing? Oh, I got one woo. I love my woo girl. Okay. This session is Keep It Moving, how to build a culture of growth at your firm. How many of you are at ClioCon for the first time? A lot of you. Oh my gosh, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. Thank you for coming. How many of you are a solo attorney? No solos. Okay. You're all on teams. How many of you are on teams of under 5? Okay. Teams between 6 and 10. Okay. 11 to 20. 21 and over. Okay. Great. All right. We've got a good mix. We've got some people that are a bit on smaller teams, and we've got some folks that are on much bigger teams. So growth is going to be more or less complicated depending on the size of your team and how you're managing that change. But how many of you feel like your days are on autopilot? How many of you feel like this hamster? So when was the last time you set aside some time for intentional learning and development? Today? ClioCon? Amazing. You're doing great. But before this, how long had it really been? Last ClioCon. Okay. So we don't like feeling stuck in one place. Does anyone like feeling stuck? I hate it. And when I feel that stuck feeling, I want to get moving. But if I'm moving in the same stuck energy all the time, it's going to feel like this. I'm not getting any forward momentum. So human hamster wheels have not caught on yet, unfortunately, but we feel like we're on one, right? And we can create momentum through continual learning and open dialogue, like what we're doing at ClioCon. Law firms are traditional, right? We're steeped in tradition, but a lot of those traditions lack intentional growth and development, especially when it comes to staff. But if you foster a culture of growth, you can enhance your employee engagement, you can improve retention, and you can drive innovation. You have a lot of smart people in this room. And there's this term that just gives me like the twitch, that non-lawyer term. There are people that are looking at this profession not as practicing attorneys, but as people that are supporting the mission that you're all driving, that have important things to say and can be the core of innovation for your firm, that often get ignored if you're not bringing them into it and fostering safety and a great place for everyone to contribute to that innovation. So I hope that if you take away one thing today is that you all start to create that safe space for innovation. So we've got 30 minutes together today, so I want to quickly cover why growth matters, show you a framework for continuous learning that you can implement next week, and some examples of what growth looks like for career pathing and for growth conversations with your staff. So my name is Nefra McDonald. I am the Director of Strategic Engagement at Clio. And it's a long-winded title that means I have a lot of things on my plate. I have a team of 12 myself. I have one manager, so she takes care of some people, but I have a lot of direct reports. And so most of my days are spent in one-on-one meetings, spent on strategy calls, spent on external calls, because my team puts on this conference, and have they not done an amazing job? So proud of them. They're also in charge of bar association partnerships. We have over 100 relationships with all state bars, local bars, international bars. We have channel marketing that lives under my team. We have all of our events, so virtual events. We do CLEs every single month for free. If you don't go to them, you should. That's learning. You can plug into your calendar. But tons of virtual events. We do customer events in cities all across North America. Talk to me if you want one in your city. We're doing a lot. And I've got to keep all of these people on task, but I also have to pour into their development every single day. And I have to think about how to keep them on task And in the back of my mind, know that they've got skills that they need to learn. They want to level up. They want to get promoted. They want to get that next raise. And so how do I make sure that the things that they're doing every single day, by nature, allow them to skill up, allow them to take a risk, allow them to bring innovations to the team and start something new? So I have to keep all of those things top of mind. And I couldn't do it without their partnership. So let's talk about why growth matters. So you saw in this morning's keynote, legal is changing rapidly. And so your ability to learn what is happening and what is coming and implement it gives you the ultimate competitive advantage. So it's great that you're here at ClioCon, and I hope you come back. But where else is your staff learning? Where else are you learning? So what's the formula for growth? The formula for growth is adaptability. It's retention, because you want to retain the knowledge and the skilling up that you're doing. And it's innovation. Let me give you some statistics in case you need convincing. The Gallup State of the Workplace Survey from 2024 and Culture Amp from September 2025 said that 94% of employees stay longer when they have development opportunities, and 92% more firms see innovation when they have strong firm culture and that culture of innovation. Gallup also reports that highly engaged workplaces see 17% higher productivity and 21% higher profitability. I want to make more money, right? And a great way to do that is investing in your people and investing in knowledge. So how do you get a more engaged workplace? For me, personally, and for my team, it starts with mindset. So how many of you have read this book, have heard of Carol Dweck? A couple of you. I highly recommend this book. So growth and adaptability start and end with your mindset. So this book explains how two fundamental beliefs, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, shape our lives and our potential for success. I love this quote from the book. The hallmark of successful people is that they are always stretching themselves to learn new things. I will also tell you something else. Our brains are wired for comfort. We love the status quo. And the second you try to step outside of that, your brain will try to convince you that it is the wrong thing to do. Procrastination. It's going to take too much time, so I might as well just do it the same way I've always done it. What any other excuses your brain comes up with? Anyone can think. I'm sure you can think of some. So mindset is so important. So let's explore fixed mindset. So in a fixed mindset, challenges are risks that could just expose some deficiencies. We hate a challenge. Feedback is a personal attack. You get defensive. Oh my God, the coffee sucks. I chose that coffee. I paid for that coffee. What do you mean the coffee sucks? Instantly defensive. Effort is a sign of low ability, meaning talent. I'm talented. That's enough for success. So people who have to give effort to stuff, A for effort, what is that, right? Other success is a threat. Oh my God, there are more talented people out there than me. Like, I've got to find a way to undercut them. Where do you hear fixed mindset language in your firm? Does anyone want to volunteer? You hear with your boss, do you not want to say? No examples of fixed mindset. We're all growth mindset. I love to hear it because we're going to go into that. So, growth mindset. Challenges are opportunities. I have a colleague of mine that anytime she's faced with a setback says, wow, what a wonderful opportunity. So if you can give yourself a second in a setback to frame it like that, you will start to see a lot of possibility. Feedback is useful. Feedback is a gift. If you are not sharing feedback actively with your peers, with the person you report to, you're depriving them of an opportunity to grow. So please find a way to share feedback, but also create a safe space for feedback where it's not met with defensiveness or retaliation. Effort is seen as a path to mastery, a path to improvement. So the more effort you put into something, the more you can grow, the more you can thrive. And that person that was putting an effort on something a year ago is now the firm's expert on that thing. And then other success is inspiration. How many of you were exposed to the Reisman Awards for the first time through Clio? Do you know what the Reisman Awards are? Okay, you're coming to After Dark tonight. You will see the stories of firms that are doing absolutely amazing things. And I hope you find them and talk to them about what they're doing, or at least get inspired by their stories and their videos, because there's a lot of room for you to grow when you see the work of others as an inspiration. When we normalize learning and reflection, we unlock innovation. So we're going from an achievement culture to a development culture. How do we do that? A thriving culture does not just reward wins, it celebrates learning. So your mission is to, in creating this safe environment for learning, you're creating a rhythm for learning. You're modeling that learning. And it is from every single level, whether you are the managing partner at a firm, you are a paralegal, you are a file clerk. That's where I started when I started at law firms. Labeling documents. Everyone has a part to play. Achievement is the result, right? Okay, great, we got the award. Development is the progress, it's the curiosity, and it's the resilience as you take that path and getting there. So let's look at what a rhythm of learning might actually look like in practice. Has anyone ever done these? Learning lattes. Okay. Do you all have a coffee machine at work? I hope you're caffeinated. God bless you if you operate without caffeine. So every morning I wake up, the first thing I do is grab a cup of coffee. And I can do one of two things. I can either jump right into work, I can jump right into my email, or I can take 10 or 15 minutes to learn something new and to share it with my colleagues. So these can be weekly, team-led, micro-learning sessions. What's something you think you can learn in 10 or 15 minutes? The greatest thing somebody taught me recently is in your Google Chrome browser, you can create like a family of tabs. There are tabs that I work in every single day, documents that I work in every single day. You can put all of these tabs together and launch them anytime, and it's the same tabs instead of me having to go and open that one by one. When somebody taught me that, it changed my freaking life. The other thing, Gemini. How many of you are in the Google space? Gemini. There are things called gems. You can create workflows using Gemini's AI. Okay, awesome. We were creating these gems, but realized oh man, I created this awesome gem, and this person over there can't get the gem, so I've got to replicate the steps for them. They came out with an update. You can share gems now, and it was like the best day ever. All it took was 10 minutes of somebody sharing that with me, and it changed my workday. So, learning lattes. Can you take 30 seconds right now and think of one or two things that you can share in 10 minutes and teach your team? 30 seconds. My countdown clock isn't going. Otherwise, I would totally tell you how long it's going to take. But think of one or two things. and you're going back next week, you're starting learning lattes, okay? Themes. Themes are another way to keep learning focused and connected to the firm's goals. So these are some examples of quarterly themes that you can put in place. Maybe, we're still kind of early in Q4. We could start this in Q4, or you can say, you know what, 2026 is our year. We're going to be implementing a culture of continuous learning. We're going to start this rhythm, top of the year, and here are our themes for the year. I would encourage you maybe to send out a survey. Pick some themes, tons of them. I'm sure you can think of tons of themes. Send it out, have the team vote. That buy-in is so important when you're trying to create a culture of learning, because you're going to see what people want to learn about. Where are people interested? Where are the gaps? And choose your themes for the year. Once you've got your themes, then you can start to create a rhythm within each quarter of how you're going to level the team up around each one of these themes. So, an example, first one, client experience and communication. So all this is about is strengthening relationships by refining how your team listens, communicates, and delivers value to clients. So how many things can you think of within that quarter that will help you to elevate that? Number one, somebody hears, man, I am doing these intakes and I'm struggling to get them back in. We send them out and it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I call the client and they're like, I'm too busy to get this done. Okay. The team gets together and thinks about this. And you realize that your intake is 20 pages long and no reasonable human being wants to sit there and input information in 20 pages. Do you want to do that? I don't want to do that. So you come up with a new intake system that you then roll out to your clients. Are there things that your clients complain about all the time? Yes? No? Can you find some themes around client complaints? Can somebody raise their hand and tell me about one that they're experiencing at your firm? Yes? It costs too much. How many of you have heard that one? Okay. One of the things that I've heard that is really helpful when you're onboarding a new client is breaking down the path ahead, breaking down what the firm is actually about to do for them, talking about the value of what they deliver, painting the picture of where they're going to come out at the end. That's one way to explain the value of the time that's being spent bringing their case to a successful conclusion. You could also show them our legal trends report benchmark survey and what other lawyers are charging in the area. That could be another tactic. What else do you hear?
Lack of communication.
Lack of communication from the firm?
Clients want rigid updates and status reports, and they just don't get them turned around any quicker as clients' expectations.
Okay. Clients want regular communication and status reports, and the firm is not getting those out as frequently as the clients expect them. Okay. That's the firm's problem in this first quarter. So you're at ClioCon today. There are tons of sponsors here who solve that problem. One of them is sponsoring the Puppy Pit case status that can help you to automate some of those client communications. So maybe one of the things that you do in Q1 is you implement case status as one way to solve that problem, right? So I want you to think about these things. You're thinking about all of these things that clients complain about. Write them down. This is your quarter to write them down. Get Post-it notes out. Start to think about how you can carve out the time as a team to solve these things. Nominate someone. Someone's really excited to solve this problem. Let them lead it. Let them bring updates back to the team. Let them present their ideas so that you can surface blind spots. Hey, have you thought about this? No, you know what? This type of client, they want it this way. It starts to become a collaborative process. You're creating a culture of growth, right? Q2, tech and efficiency. So you can start to empower your team to work smarter through technology. Would you say that everyone at your firm is competent in all of the tools that you use? I see no hands. How many of you would say 50% of the tools? I see 2 hands. Okay, this quarter is gonna be so important. Okay, the way that you can solve for this is number 1, internal champions. You gotta have one expert. Did you all know that Clio has a certification program? Yes. Is anyone Clio certified in this room? We got two Clio certified people. Okay, this quarter, everyone gets Clio certified. How about that? That's the mission for Q2. What about the other tools that you're using? How do you get people up to speed? There are a ton of consultants that can help you out with this if you don't have the resources internally. I saw a hand raised. Okay, no, we're good. Amazing. So Q2 is already planned. Great. Q3, leadership and mindset. So you're cultivating resilience, emotional intelligence, accountability across every level of the firm. It is not just the leader's job to be resilient and to manage change. It is every person's responsibility to manage change. How many of you have some sort of metric in each person's job description that talks about the level of resilience that they should have at that level? Do you talk about that at all in your JDs? I think you should start, because it's every person's responsibility. If you're constantly managing your team's emotions, you're not going to have much time for anything else. So think about that one. I'll move on because I've got 8 minutes left. Business development and branding. Let's bring in some new clients. Let's make some money. But let's make sure that the firm's brand is consistent in everything that we do, in every communication that every person is sending out. You're appearing as the experts. You're developing authentic client connections and bringing those insights back to the firm so that everyone at the firm who's working on that file is getting to know your clients as people. How can you focus on that in this quarter? So do you see how the themes might help you to get into a rhythm of learning, to get buy-in, to get excitement, to focus on really important pillars for the firm? Okay. Let's move on to another idea. How many of you have ever done project retrospectives? Okay, we've got 2 hands in the back. Okay, very simple exercise. What worked? What didn't? What's next? Start, stop, continue. This can be applied to a bunch of different scenarios. It can be one-on-one. Someone just completed a really big project, and you want to go over that project with them. How did that go? How did that feel? What went really well about that? What was really hard about it? What should we never do again? What do we want to continue to do? How do we apply this to the next thing? These are really easy questions you can pepper into anything. You just finished winning a really big case. You've never taken on a case like this before in the firm's history. Pause for a second. Celebrate. Amazing. Reflect on this. What do you want to start doing as a result of this? What do you want to stop doing? What will you never do again? And what do you want to continue and implement moving forward? All right, we're getting into the meaty stuff here. And I know we're getting close on time. So how many of you have transparency around what growth looks like in your firm? Meaning your career paths. Okay, we got some like really shy hands. That means no to me. So if you are not providing a clear path to growth for your staff or asking for one, you're in some serious trouble. Because when you have that vision for where you can go next, it makes every day intentional. And as a manager, like I was mentioning in how I coach my team, it gives you natural ways to move your team through activities that organically help them to learn, to grow, to stretch, and to get to the next level. If you don't have a clear path for your team on activities and impact that it takes to get the next title, to keep their job, to get the next pay raise, again, we're in trouble. So I need you all to do this. Create a career pathing framework for the levels and the roles at your firm. What does technical growth look like? What does leadership growth look like? What is a contribution to culture? How many of you have thought about contribution to culture in your career paths and in your job descriptions? If you are not thinking about that, start today, please, because it will completely change the game for you. You want to make these paths transparent and measurable. That visibility is going to make people feel like development is possible for them. You want to retain really good talent, and you might have untapped talent, people that have never been poured into in their careers, that for the first time may get the opportunity to really develop and learn and feel like they're contributing to something bigger. So you want to define excellence at every level and create a plan. This is a rhythm. Create a plan to check in your one-on-ones. If you're not doing one-on-ones, that's a rhythm. Maybe once a week, once every other week, once a month, but you should be checking in with your people one-to-one. Checking in on this quarterly, and for sure checking in on this annually. So I'm going to give you a little bit more of an in-depth version of this. There's a lot of text on here. You can take a screenshot. These slides will be shared. So let's go a layer deeper with just a legal assistant only. So here's level 1, legal assistant 1, 0 to 2 years. Here's some of the stuff that they do. Here's some performance indicators. They have timely, error-free work. They're responsive to attorney needs. They have positive team feedback, but all of the other things as well that you would expect. Legal assistant 2, 2 to 4 years. Here's the stuff that they do. Maybe they've got some case management proficiency. They know Clio, they know NetDocs. They know e-filing systems. Maybe level 3 is a senior paralegal. It's somebody with 4 to 7 years of experience. They've got that specialized degree maybe, and there's a different level of expectation. This is something that you should have access to. You should know what the path looks like. Because if you're a legal assistant 1 and you're like, man, I really want to go to paralegal school and I want to get this next level because I know for me at the firm, it's going to mean that I learn all these things. I get to do all these things. I get to work with these really cool people. I get to do really fun things on these cases, right? Like it gives somebody a path to work toward. And you should have this for your associates. You should have it for literally everybody. How can you start to create natural paths for your people? So now that you've got paths, you've got performance reviews. Performance reviews feel really judgy. Growth conversations, however, develop people. So if you've got very clear paths, you are having development conversations. Here are the areas where you have skill gaps. Here are the areas where you are not demonstrating these things consistently. How can we get you there? Here's what that might look like. So replace your annual reviews with quarterly growth conversations. So where do you want to grow next? Have you ever asked your people, hey, where do you want to grow? What do you want next? Where do you see your future at this firm? And you can help to make that vision clear for them. Help them to see the skills that are going to move them closer to their next level and how the firm can support with that. So, what do you do next? This is how you build in a culture of growth. You want to showcase success. Oh my God, so many people got Clio certified. This is amazing. These are some soft examples of things that you want to be sure you're recognizing. Recognition really helps. People take recognition in different ways. Some people like, a Starbucks gift card. They want some money. They want to post in the company newsletter. Like Michelle or Kathleen. Kathleen just passed the paralegal exam. Amazing. And then Michael, oh my God, he adopted Jasper the ferret. That's awesome. Okay, here are some programs that built momentum. You do not need a big budget. You just need a rhythm and consistency. Do a wins and lessons roundtable. Do it monthly. Your purpose is to celebrate and reflect. Peer coaching circles. You don't have to be the one coaching all the time. If you have somebody that's really excellent, pair them up with someone else. Get that coaching, accountability, the support. Growth ambassadors. This is happening all the time. You want to keep learning very visible to the entire firm. Innovation sprints 2 times a year. You want to drive improvement. So all those complaints that were coming in from clients, time to fix them. Complaints that are coming in from your staff on stuff that's not working internally, time to fix them. So you can pepper in some of the suggestions I've already made, but here are some more that you can add in. You can grab a shot of this. January, you can have a growth mindset kickoff. We want everyone working on that mindset from jump. You have a state of growth meeting. Where are we? Where do we want to go? March, we do that tech tune-up. We do some mini AI trainings. June, career mapping, more growth check-ins. October, innovation sprint number 2 is happening in that month. We're improving client comms in that month. December is a great time for reflection and an annual celebration. Imagine if you spend a year on intentional growth in 2026, what that holiday celebration is going to feel like when your entire team is engaged, jazzed, they've accomplished so much, they've really contributed to the firm culture. Like, how amazing will that time feel? So here are some key takeaways. Growth is not a department. It is a rhythm. Let's make it a habit, not a hamster wheel. So embed a growth mindset in your culture and your career paths. Continuous learning should be intentional and everyone's responsibility. Build safety around regular reflection for your firm and for your people. And start small, but start this month. So what's one idea you're implementing this month? Please write that down. Commit to it before you leave this room, before you leave ClioCon. One thing you're implementing this month. Thank you so much.